right, what's up, everyone? My name is Syed Askari, and welcome to the fifth episode of the Contractor Chronicles show. Over the last 5 years, my focus has been to empower contractors to expand their business through digital content and content creation. That's exactly why I share some inspiring stories with you guys from the industry, different builders, contractors, architects, and today we've got a very special guest, owner of one of the best outdoor design and build company based out of Gilbert, Arizona, and they do pretty much everything from custom backyards, pools, landscape design. Mr. Josh Sherwood, the owner of Outdoors. Josh, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Hey, thanks, man. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing great, doing great. Well, I know we haven't talked much, but I would love for everybody to know kind of like your background. How did you get started in the industry?
I've been doing this almost 22 years now, so
Okay.
a long time. My dad owned a sod farm when I was about 21, 22. I worked for him laying sod, working on the sod farm, and that was around 2002. And 2002, 2003, 2004, as we know in Arizona, it was the start of the real estate boom. And so my timing was perfect, and I'd be at houses laying sod, and the neighbor would walk out and say, "Hey, I want a tree, or I want some bushes, or I want a sprinkler system." And I would just say, "Yes, yeah, we can do that." I wouldn't have any idea what to charge. I didn't even know really what I was doing, but I always have been able to find the right guys to do the job. So that's basically how it started. Is just like, and then with the boom in 2005, 6, and 7. I went from like 4 guys to like 50 guys in that short of
Four
a
to
time.
50?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember going to my wife, I said, "Honey, I think I'm going to start a landscape business." And she's just like, "What the hell? What do you know about that?" And I was like, "Well, not much, but I knew the right guys. I knew I could find guys that knew what they were doing." So, we had no money at the time. We were just married. I had to go to Home Depot, and I didn't have enough money to I had to buy like a wheel, some rakes. So I had to put all that on a credit card. And that was my business loan to start the business that I currently now do.
Hey, you got to start somewhere, huh? Do you have any partners?
Yep. Nope. Just me.
Just you? Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. And it's been what, 20 years now that you've been doing this yourself?
Almost 22. So I
22.
started in landscape.
Okay.
Again, we had almost 50, 60 employees in 2007. And then obviously we know what happened in 2008, right? Like the economy crashed. And we barely survived that, like barely survived. I'm glad that I did now, but back then it was sucked. I mean, I had to fire everyone but like 3 people. And we were just barely making ends meet. And then we just slowly, 2009, 2010, we stuck with it. I definitely didn't give it up. There was a few times I was going to go sell insurance, or I was going to do something else, because I was like, man, this is horrible. But I'm glad I didn't, because we stayed open. And for the younger listeners out there, the best advice I can give, like during a hard time, is you can't have a lot of debt. If I would have had a lot of debt in 2008, 2009, I would have for sure had to fold up and close. So I know a lot of the younger generation, they want to just get loans and grow big and go nuts. But for me, that I was so glad I didn't do that. I just grew organically, and as I
Yeah.
could afford a truck, I would buy one. And basically word of mouth. We never advertised. We never did any of that. But as I started doing the landscaping in like 2009, 10, and 11, that started to pick up again. So now we're back at around 50 employees, 40, 50, doing good. And I saw this opportunity where, hey, a lot of the builders I work with, home builders, I think if I also could offer them doing the swimming pool as well as the landscaping, it would save them headaches. It would cut one other,
Yeah.
subcontractor out of their list, and maybe we could manage all the things outdoors for them. And that's when I started the Sherwood Outdoors, is where I went and got my license, and and then we started to do pools, and then it just migrated into everything outside.
So you operated super lean, obviously through the recession,
Super
and
lean.
you didn't
Yeah.
take out any debt, and obviously that's something everybody should be like. Don't take on more than you can handle. That's probably
Yeah.
happened in the COVID boom. People took on too many loans, all that crazy stuff, and then
Yeah.
now they went bankrupt. Right, like and I'm sure
Yep.
you've heard crazy stories about like pool companies like took on too many projects and they weren't able to fulfill across the industry. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We run into a lot of those where people call us needing us to come help finish one because the guy went out of business or they can't get a hold of him or he disappeared or whatever.
That's crazy. How do you manage a team of 50 people? Dude, that's like we have a team of 23 and I'm like, dude, we need more leaders in the company.
Yeah. So it wasn't until about 5 years ago, 4 years ago, probably like right before COVID, where I used to try to do it all myself and it sucked, man. It was like 12, 13-hour days. My phone could never turn off.
Yeah.
Every time I'm on vacation with my family, I was working. It was like, but I didn't know a better way, right? And sometimes when you don't know, you don't know. And finally, I went out and we hired some help. We hired some project managers, hired some design people, and now we're probably up to like 80 employees. Is about where we're sitting right now currently. Um, but it's really hard. I was always scared to hire only because I didn't want to have to fire them. I didn't know because I experienced the crash in '08. I'm like, man, I don't want to start hiring and then something bad happens and then I got to fire them because it sucks to fire people. It really does. So I always hired later than I should have, right? Like a year or two later. Like when there was a need, I would just try to fill the need myself and spread myself so thin most of the time. But it wasn't up until about 4 years ago. We have a really good system now in place with project managers, designers. We have a general manager. Erica has been with me. She's like been with me 20 years. And then we have a couple field supervisors plus all the laborers.
Nice. What's your leadership team look like or management? Like how many people are managing your team or is it just you? Like as far as
No,
like
I mean it's me, and then we have a GM that she manages most of the office staff, and then my brother that works for me manages all of the outdoor labor guys that work in the field. So 3 to 4, technically, including myself.
okay. Gotcha. Okay. I want to talk a little bit more about your company. You guys are out in the Phoenix market, Gilbert, Arizona. What are you guys known for mostly? Like, why would because there's I'm sure that market's saturated with a lot of pool
For
companies,
sure.
a lot of
Yeah.
outdoor. So why would someone want to work with Sherman Outdoors? Like, what's unique about you guys?
Um, we have a lot of experience. I do. I have learned the hard way too many times, learned a lot of good lessons that cost a lot of money. So we have a lot of experience. I'm still very involved in the business. I see every job, usually every day. So we're still like a small, technically, right?
Yeah.
Smaller company, but can still give you like most of our jobs now are high-end custom homes. That's probably our specialty.
Custom.
Um, Even
Okay.
swimming pools like lazy rivers, um, really cool like jumping decks, jumping water walls, things that most like smaller maybe cookie cutter pool don't do or don't want to do.
Yeah.
We'll take on those big, elaborate, difficult jobs because of our experience. We have no problem basically doing anything. And so
Interesting.
between the
Okay.
engineering and the construction and the expertise of my guys out in the field, some of them been with me 18, 20 years.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one thing. And I've always tried to do business the right way. So that's why I was telling you I've learned a lot of hard lessons. When we do screw up, which we do, I always
Everybody
take care
does.
of it.
Yeah.
Right? I always take care of it, and even if it costs me a bunch of money, I always take care of it. And so I think we have a pretty good reputation. I mean, COVID was hard for everyone, right? We got so busy, and our subs, like our Shotcrete guy, got behind, and we were just scrambling there. It felt like for like a couple years, but we caught up and we
Yeah.
finished everything we started. And we got people swimming, and it always ended. And look, the project will look great, but the taking the extra time, it almost took double the amount of time during COVID to do anything. And so you'd get a lot of people frustrated, right? Because they just want to, it's so hot in the summer here, they're just wanting to swim. And so, but we always made sure it was right, no matter what,
Yeah.
So that's and financially we're able to do that, right? We're not so upside down financially or in a lot of debt where if I have a job and we screw one thing up, I go bankrupt and no one ever sees me again. I'm
Have
able
some
to
cash
cover the
reserves.
cost for a large repair or even a rip. We've had to rip poles out of the ground before, and cost $40,000-$50,000. And but we do it because it's the right thing to do. And so I mean, I think, and I've just been doing it a long time. I've just been doing it a long time.
How did you pivot to just being like a turnkey full outdoor living space, type builder? I'm sure you don't take on every project that gets thrown in your way. Like you're being picky with who do you want to work with, what type of project do you want to take on? What is that criteria for you?
So we have, custom home builders that we have good relationships with. That's where most of our work comes from.
Okay.
So the custom home builder has the client, they design them a big, beautiful home on like an acre. They either get us involved or hire a landscape architect, and then we take those plans, bid it out, and build it. So relationships, everyone says that is the key to business, but that's true for what I do too. Is home builders, because home building, custom homes in Phoenix area right now are still really strong. There's a lot going on still.
Really?
And yeah, tons. I mean, multi-million-dollar homes. So that's probably 70% of our work is from that.
I know a lot of people are moving from California to the Phoenix market. I'm sure that's probably why, there's tons of money being invested in the local area, like as far as like luxury homes, things like
Yeah,
that.
there is. And Phoenix, I've born and raised here in Gilbert, which is just on the outskirts of Phoenix. And dude, it's a great place. I mean, it is hot for like 3 months, but man, the rest of the year it's just freaking, it's
I feel like you
amazing.
guys have the best winters, right? Because
Best
like
don't
pool
have any
season's like year round.
no natural disasters, right? I mean, no, it's just like, and it's growing, and that's obviously good for a business like mine. We need growth, for us to do well. And so some people don't like that all these foreigners, all these different people, not foreigners, but California, Washington,
Right.
Seattle, come to Arizona, man, we love it because it just promotes growth and economic growth and things like that.
Is there a specific or weird request you get from like people moving from, let's say, California or Washington, like, hey, this is what I want, and you're like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah, especially like Oregon, Washington, they'll want just that lush green, and you can achieve that to a point. But when it's really, really hot, some of those bushes just struggle and they don't look great in the dead part of the summer. But yeah, you'll get the occasional like, I want it to look like Disneyland, and I'm like, it gets so hot here. Those bushes sometimes they're not going to do the best in the summer, and so we try to. There are some actually pretty good options, believe it or not, in Arizona, where you can still get a really lush-looking landscape.
Yeah,
Everyone thinks you just got to do like a xeriscape, cactus, and agaves, and you actually don't. There's a lot of options here in Arizona that the bushes and trees that hold up really well to heat that can still look very lush and green.
that's crazy, man. Where you get like as far as like growth wise, everything comes in from home builders, word of mouth referrals, or do you do any type of advertising at all? I see your content. I know you're posting some content on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, we post all of our jobs, but that's it. We don't advertise. I never have.
Okay.
So, but I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I think, if you're newer and you're starting out and you can afford it, I think it's a smart idea to try to drum up business.
But I feel like with you, like you guys stay busy throughout the year with just like jobs that you get from home builders. Maybe you get leads from Instagram, people checking out your work. That keeps you and your crews busy throughout the year.
Yeah, yeah. And we're experiencing a little bit of a slowdown right now. I think the entire United States is experiencing that, right? Which I'm not super mad about because of how busy we were.
We were,
And it
yeah.
was really hard to just get everything done and keep everyone happy. And as it slows down a little bit, it allows us to get a little better at what we do, stay on top of things, a little more quality control, all of the things that I want to be doing anyway.
Do you have someone managing your social media to like come up with new ideas for videos? How do you guys manage that?
No, I'm horrible, dude. I'm like old school. I'm so bad at that. Like I literally, it's just me, and I just throw pictures on there. I don't hashtag. I don't really. I just, and we could be better. And I think as it slows down, I'll probably look more into that
Yeah.
social media side of things and tags and hashtags and trying to drum up more traffic that way. but we're just barely getting into a zone where we feel comfortable and we're not too busy. So as it slows down, if it does for us, we're needing more leads. I think that's something we'll look at.
That's awesome, man. From like the design perspective, I was looking at your Instagram. You guys have done some crazy projects. Is there Are there any specific trade shows that you go to, or would you recommend other builders go to come up with like new trends, like outdoor designs? How do you like kind of stay with the trend?
Yeah, so we have really good designers that I think they spend a lot of time on social media. You know, they follow a lot of these high end clients that do really cool stuff and kind of see what the trends are. And it makes it nice too when you're dealing with a client that can afford doing something outside the box and something really cool. Because most of the time something that's really cool is also really expensive. And so we are afforded the pleasure of working with some people that have large enough budgets to allow us then to say, hey, let's do something really cool here. Let's do a lazy river. Let's do a cantilever shade structure that you can jump off of. Let's kind of think outside the box kind of thing. But there's a lot of really good bigger companies, or at least design firms, that have really good social media presence. And even for me, like, I'll hop on social media and I follow a bunch of different ones that I enjoy and can pick up ideas, look
Yeah,
at what they're doing, follow what's trending on color schemes and on designs. Are we freeform? Are we straight lines? Are we Mediterranean? Are we modern? I think social media is a great option for that as well.
and I feel like the clients having the budget and allowing you guys to be creative. Without that, like these dreams would never come to reality, right? Like you guys have a design, but they got the budget, they got the backyard. So like, all right, I let you guys do what you guys do the best.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's huge. If the budget's not there, we can throw a rectangle pool and just, and be done in 6-8 weeks. But we're the fortunate enough to work with a lot of clients that have the budget and that really want something, not, they want something outside the box. They don't want something
Yeah.
that they see in every backyard. And so then that allows our designers to then, kind of like go for it and really design something really cool and outside the box, knowing that the budget.
100%. I had Johnny Nalipa with he also has a outdoor consulting firm based out of Florida, Miami, Florida. Super smart guy, 35-year-old, working with the Foxterra. They did a project out in Miami, Florida. It's like a multi-million dollar. It was like a Lamborghini pool project. I don't know if you've seen it online or not. But that video, like the project that he made, he got a lot of engagement. A lot of people like were like, "This is crazy." I'll send you after our call. But they had to like actually go to like a Lamborghini, like office to kind of take the measurement of the car because the owner of the house, he wanted to park his Lamborghini on the pool.
Oh, I saw that. So he's just parked on like an inch of water.
Yep, you've seen that, right?
That's so sweet. So
So I was
sweet.
like, without that, without their budget, without them actually being like, who would have thought like this idea? Like, I want to park a Lamborghini on a pool. It's like to me, it's
Yeah.
nuts.
So you're like, hey, dude, give me $5 or $10 million, and I'll figure out how to park your Lamborghini on some water.
Is there any crazy projects you've done that you're like, man, I would have never done this in my life. Now I'm here, I'm doing this.
We're currently on one that is our largest one to date as far as
Okay.
budget. I think it's 1.6, 1.7 million.
Okay.
Um, and it has a really huge swimming pool, 7 feet high, and it has a negative edge that drops down to another swimming pool down low. So
Wow.
we'll probably be done actually in maybe a month. It's almost there. So you'll see on our Instagram.
How long it took you like so far?
It's been like 8 months. And so,
8 months.
I mean, that's a year project for us, just because you got to get to the pool up to a certain phase before you can come in and start all the hard stuff. And
That's
there was
crazy.
crazy engineering involved. And the walls, some of the walls are 2 foot thick because of the design. I mean, it's going to be, it's our biggest one up till today for myself, being in this business for 22 years.
Did you design that, or was that this is client's idea and this is what I want?
That he was working with a builder that I didn't know who he was. He was
Okay.
unhappy with that builder, but the builder had a landscape architect design the whole project. So when he didn't like his builder, so he went and hired one of the builders we worked for, and so then we got brought in on this project.
Interesting. 8 months, man. Like any mistakes you made so far, you're like, man, this is something
No,
I'm
I,
gonna
the
learn.
hard, no, the hardest part was the different levels of inspections, right? Because of
Okay.
so I mean, we've had probably 20 different inspections, which just takes time. If they fail you on something small, you got to fix it, and you got to recall it, and you can't advance the job until you pass those certain inspections. So, um, you know, difficult, no, just time consuming.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's amazing. That's crazy. For your business, where do you want to take this? Like, are you trying to exit? Do you want to like just keep it as a lifestyle business? What's your goal?
I mean, yeah. So I also, I have other investments for me personally. I like what I do. And I would like to continually kind of phase myself out of too many things, just to have more free time and time with the family. So uh, right now, our business is healthy. We make a good profit. We have a lot of good people that work for us, which I enjoy helping people provide for their families and have good lives through
Yeah.
the business that I run. So for now, we're just looking forward and you know, I've never been in a super grow type mode because of the custom work that we do. It's really hard to scale it, right? Really hard to scale it because I have to be so involved. Um,
And
but
every project you take is so custom.
it's so custom. There's
Yeah.
no way to say if I go find five more guys like me that have experience, one, they're going to need a lot of money, and two, they're probably doing their own thing already, right?
Yeah.
So um, but we'll take what we can get. If we need to go higher, to allow for demand, we will. So it's one of those things where I'm not looking to slow down, but I'm also not looking to scale at all.
That's crazy, man. You're like literally the greatest asset in your business as of right now, as far as like the design, being super creative.
Yeah, but it also is too many hats, right?
Yeah.
Like and it takes a lot out of you. But I also love it, and we do some really cool shit, so it's fun.
Dude, I was gonna say like managing 80 people, props to you. I don't think I can do that right now where I'm in my stage of my business.
And again, we do have a lot of help with our managers, and I have really good people, and so it makes it that much easier, to put the hours in and make sure the company makes money to be able to pay all these good people that work for us.
What do you think is the single greatest investment you made in yourself?
Damn, dude, that's a good one. For some reason, maybe my parents instilled this in me, but I never thought about failing. I just thought I could do it. Even that one day when I told my wife, I was like, what was I, 23, 22? I was like, honey, I'm going to start a landscape business. And she was like, what the hell are you talking about?
You
And
don't know anything about
I
landscape.
just never, like, failing. I was like, yeah, I'm going to start this business. We're going to do good. It was the weirdest. So I think I've always bet on myself. And even when I went and got my swimming pool license, I bet on myself again. And now, about 8 years ago, I went and got my general contractor's license, which I bet on myself again. And now we're doing custom homes as well, like spec homes. So we don't build for clients. I just do that as like an investment where I go buy property, build a house on it, put a sick pool in a yard, and then I sell. Um, I've kind of always liked to grow as my business grows, and I'm learning. I like to be learning, and so that's why I started in landscape,
Yeah,
phased in the pools. Now I'm in a general contracting home business. I just like to learn and continually growing. So I'm only about okay. Where's the next thing for me? What can I? Now that I got this figured out and it's going good, and I have some time, where can I put that time to where does what interests me? And usually it's anything to do with construction.
that's amazing. Is there any specific resources that you have that you use to grow, like improve your skills, or follow a mentor or coach?
I think so. I never had any of that. I think that would be very smart for the younger generation to find someone that's in the field that you want to be in, that's an expert. And all I know is like I've never really been asked this. Someone called me and said, "Can I mentor you?" I would probably say yes every time.
Yeah,
Come on, follow me around for like I think most guys that are maybe let's call it experts in their field actually wanna give back, want to pass the torch or whatever it is. There's just a lot less people wanting to do. There's not very many people that want to do what I'm doing for whatever reason, right? Especially the younger generations.
and I feel like a lot of people are just so afraid to ask. Like it doesn't hurt to ask. You see someone who's an expert in what they're doing, literally just ask like, "Hey, is this something you could teach me? Can I have 1 hour for time? Pick on your brain." People are just
I
afraid.
100% agree with that. Like, I think the biggest miss you can do is just don't say anything, right? The worst the guy can say or me is say, no, I don't have time.
No, that's
That's
it.
the worst that could happen. So, had I had a mentor maybe in my life, I think I could have been where I am today, maybe 5, 10 years ahead of it. They might have shaved 5 or 10 years off of my timeline where I am today had I had like a mentor that I could lean on. Because, man, like I said, I made a lot of mistakes that were costly over the years just because I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, mentorship, it saves you time and obviously with money as well, since these mistakes, like you said, are costly, not hundreds of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars go down the drain just because you made that mistake. But again, you learn from those, and that's why mentorship, is important. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Cool, man. What else is it? Is there any other company or any other project that you're working on that you're excited about apart from this big project that you just took on?
I mean, all of our jobs right now, truthfully, like they're big. They're fun. It's always fun to just go to a house that's just dirt, front and backyard, and then like a few months later, what you can create with it. That's always fun. It never gets old for me. So every job to me, it's like, hey, it's and just like building something that's high functioning, that's beautiful, that people can actually use. Most of these people have families, they have kids, they're spending time with their kids in their backyard in the swimming pool. That's just really cool that I get to make money doing that. So
Yeah.
that's
Have you noticed any patterns in customers, like a change of behavior pre-COVID versus now, maybe like what they're wanting as far as like demand? Have you seen something different?
so I would say before COVID, almost all of our jobs were new builds. Now we're getting a lot more of a remodel, right?
Remodels.
People staying in their homes because their interest rates are so low. There's no way they can go sell their house and upgrade because now the interest rate's at 7%. So now they're like,
Interesting.
hey, stay here. How do we make this now maybe our dream home? Well, let's redo the yard. Let's put a new pool in. We've getting a lot of that type of job, like remodel kind of jobs, more than we used to.
And you guys still take those on, like the remodels, or is there
But
like a specific criteria that you have?
they need to be up to a certain level, but no, we like I said, we'll take if it makes sense
Yeah,
and it makes sense for us and the client, but we'll definitely look at everything and then just go through them and just be upfront with the client, say, hey, this isn't something we can really take on right now, or hey, we're too busy, and I'll refer them to maybe someone that could handle something like
love it, love it. Dude, we're probably gonna wrap this up in a second. What is one piece of advice would you want to give to your younger self if you're back in your 20s?
that. Again, probably like find a mentor.
Mentor.
Uh, and I didn't even think about it back then. I didn't even think about go find someone that's where you want to be in 10 years and talk to them, hit them up. And I guarantee if they're like me or you or anyone else, they would be open to talking, even just like once a week, a 1 hour lunch or a bite lunch or a phone call or, hey, can I call you when I run into something and I don't know what to do? That kind of stuff, right? So I think, and then just bet on yourself. Always bet on yourself.
Awesome. If someone wants to reach out to you, pick your brain, what is the best way for them to do so, Josh?
Just Instagram. Like I said, I run it myself. I usually can respond to all the DMs there. It's Sherwood _outdoors AZ. Um, and yeah, that's where you can find us.
Awesome. Dude, I appreciate your time, man. This was a great conversation. For those of you watching, definitely check out Josh's page, follow him, give him some love, and reach out to him for some value. He's got crazy projects on his Instagram, so definitely check that out. With that being said, we're gonna wrap up this episode. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to follow.
Thanks, man.